At 105, I eat only one food to lower blood sugar fast, it. Just 3 days ago, I celebrated my 105th birthday. It's a number that still feels a little surprising to say out loud, even to myself. This morning, like countless mornings before it, I woke up, got myself ready, and cooked my own breakfast right here in the very same kitchen I've called my own for the past 51 years. There wasn't a nurse hovering, no nursing home calling my name, and certainly no need to ring up my children for help. And honestly, my children are already in their 80s themselves, so they'd probably be a bit slow getting here anyway. What might surprise you even more is that a quarter of a century ago, not a single person in my family believed this simple, independent morning would ever be possible for me. Back then, my blood sugar was stubbornly high, threatening to take away everything I cherished, piece by slow piece. If you're watching this, I have a feeling someone in your life might be worried about you. Perhaps it's your doctor, looking at your recent blood work with a concerned frown. Maybe it's your daughter, asking a few too many gentle questions about what you've chosen to eat lately. Or perhaps, just perhaps, it's you, lying awake in the quiet stillness of 3 a.m, doing a bit of arithmetic in your head, trying to calculate just how many independent, healthy years you might have left. Oh, I know that particular arithmetic all too well. I did it myself, night after night, for an entire year. When I was 80, my fasting blood sugar was persistently near 180, a number that brought with it a lot of worry and the same consistent advice from everyone. Cut the bread, cut the potatoes, cut everything that makes a meal feel like a comforting ritual worth sitting down for. But what truly began to turn my numbers around was actually the complete opposite approach. Instead of cutting back, I started adding something, specifically 10 simple, affordable foods readily available at any ordinary grocery store. I'm going to share every single one with you, explaining exactly what it does and how I incorporate it into my daily life, all in plain, easy to understand words. And here's the stranger part. These foods were only about 30% of the reason I'm still happily living in my own house today. The other 70%? Well, almost nobody talks about that part, and I'm saving it for the end, because it's the piece of wisdom I truly wish someone had shared with my dear sister Ruth. The story of Ruth. You see, for me, it was never just about a number on a meter. It was deeply personal, tied to the memory of Ruth, my beloved big sister. Sugar trouble ran her down, slowly but relentlessly, just as it tends to do. First, it began to affect her feet, stealing the feeling from them, then the steady balance she once had. After that, it started to dim the light in her eyes, making the world around her blurry and uncertain. And then, most heartbreakingly, it took her address. Ruth spent the last 6 years of her life living in the sterile hallway of a facility, a place that always carried the faint, lingering scent of disinfectant. Ruth was a remarkable woman. She raised 4 wonderful children, and every August, she would painstakingly can 100 quarts of fresh tomatoes, filling our pantry with the taste of summer all winter long. But in her final years, her world shrank until she needed to ring a small bell just to have someone bring her a simple cup of tea. I made it a point to sit with her every Sunday, holding her hand, listening to her stories. And every drive home from that facility, I made myself the same silent, fervent promise. Not me, not that hallway. So when my doctor sat me down at the age of 80 and told me that my situation was no longer a mere warning, but a definite diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, and that it was time to consider a second medication, I heard Ruth's little bell ringing in my ears. A new approach to healing. However, this particular doctor didn't just reach for his prescription pad right away. Instead, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "Barbara, give me 90 days and give me your kitchen." That conversation marked a true turning point in my life. He then spoke a line that I've repeated for the past 25 years, a line that completely shifted my perspective. We're not going to starve the sugar out of you. We're going to feed your body until it remembers what to do with sugar. Before I dive into my list of foods, you need to understand one simple picture. Once you have this image clear in your mind, every single food choice will suddenly make perfect sense. My doctor drew it for me right on the back of my lab report. He told me to imagine the sugar in your blood as a crowd of people standing in the aisle of a busy church. And then he said, think of insulin as the usher. The usher's crucial job is to gently guide each person out of that crowded aisle and into a seat in a pew. The aisle, of course, represents your bloodstream, and the seats are your cells, where sugar is meant to be used for energy. But after years and years of big crowds, big meals, big sugar spikes, the folks in the pews just stop sliding over to make room. The usher, your insulin, works harder and harder, but the aisle remains jammed with sugar. Doctors call this insulin resistance. Your pancreas, that small but mighty organ responsible for making insulin, keeps sending out more and more ushers, but the crowd keeps backing up anyway. That jammed aisle, full of waiting sugar, is precisely the number you see on your meter. Every single food on my list helps with one of three important jobs. First, it helps let the folks into the aisle much slower, so it never floods in the first place. Second, it helps calm the room. There's a quiet, persistent irritation in the body, which doctors call inflammation, that makes those pews stubborn and unwilling to budge. Or third, these foods teach the seats, your cells, to open up and welcome the sugar in again. The power of a good breakfast. Let's start right where I started, with breakfast. This was the fastest and most impactful change I made. For 50 years, I ate what my generation was always told was the virtuous choice: toast, cornflakes, and a glass of orange juice because, of course, juice was healthy. In reality, I might as well have been eating dessert at 7 o'clock in the morning. That kind of breakfast essentially marched a huge crowd of sugar straight into my bloodstream before the dishes were even washed. By 10 a.m., I'd be shaky, irritable, and already searching for the cookie tin. Most people ride this blood sugar roller coaster for so long that they just assume it's a normal part of getting older. But it isn't, and you can absolutely step off it, perhaps even tomorrow morning. For the past 25 years, here's what I've eaten instead: 2 whole eggs, yolk and all, and half an avocado. An egg is almost entirely made up of protein and good fats, with hardly any carbohydrates, so it sends practically nobody into that aisle. As for the avocado, my generation was taught to fear its fat content, and that fear truly cost us. The fat in avocado is a gentle, healthy kind, belonging to the same family as olive oil, and combined with its rich fiber content, it slows the entire meal down to a leisurely stroll through your system. But here's the part that truly convinced me, what my doctor calls the second meal effect. A calm, balanced breakfast doesn't just settle your morning blood sugar. It gently extends its calming influence to lunch, too. This means the rise in your blood sugar after your next meal will be much gentler and more manageable. The morning I checked my meter after just 2 weeks of this new breakfast, I sat down and truly cried. Not because the number was perfect, but because for the first time in years, it was finally moving in my direction, giving me a glimmer of hope. Fiber, the unsung heroes. Now a quick pause before we continue. My great-grandson Danny is the one who convinced me to record this, and he says I'm supposed to tell you that if an old woman's kitchen advice is worth your time, please consider pressing that subscribe button so he'll keep setting up this camera for me. Alright, stay with me, because this next group of foods is often overlooked. They sound almost too simple to matter, and that, my dears, is exactly the mistake people make. Remember our first job, letting the crowd into the aisle slower. I've found 3 foods that do this better than anything else. Picture a hard, sudden rain falling on packed, dry dirt. The water can't soak in, so it just runs off quickly, causing a flood in the ditch. Now picture that same rain falling on rich, well-tended garden soil. It soaks in slowly, deeply, and nothing floods. These three foods turn your meals into that absorbent, welcoming garden soil. The first one is something most people have, probably never bought in their lives: fenugreek seeds. These are little amber-colored seeds found in the spice aisle, usually just a couple of dollars for a jar. People tend to walk right past them because the name sounds a bit foreign, and in doing so, they miss one of the strongest tools available on the shelf for managing blood sugar. Inside that tiny seed is a unique fiber that swells into a thick, gentle gel the moment it meets water. This gel then slows down how quickly your stomach releases food into your system. Instead of sugar flooding the aisle, it trickles in gently. My method is to soak 1 teaspoon of fenugreek seeds overnight in a glass of water. In the morning, I drink the water and eat the softened seeds before breakfast. I won't lie to you, they are a bit bitter, so that's too much for you. You can grind them into a powder and stir half a teaspoon into your yogurt. Just remember to start small. This fiber is very powerful, and your gut might need about a week to truly get used to it and make friends with it. Next up, we have chia seeds. These are tiny gray specks that, much like fenugreek, transform a glass of water into a thick, gelatinous pudding. And that's precisely what they do inside your body. The same kind of gel forms, enveloping your meal and slowing down its digestion. Chia seeds also contain a beneficial plant fat from the omega-3 family, which helps to calm that quiet, persistent irritation of inflammation we discussed earlier. I use 1 or 2 tablespoons a day, stirring them into yogurt or simply mixing them with water and a squeeze of lemon. Be sure to let it sit for about 10 minutes to allow the gel to form, and importantly, drink plenty of water with it. Fiber without enough water can create its own kind of traffic jam in your system. And third, this one actually made me laugh when my doctor first wrote it down for me: lentils. Yes, lentils are a carbohydrate, and yet they help to steady my blood sugar. Just sit with that idea for a moment. It's really the entire argument of this video contained in a single bowl. The starch in a lentil is the slow kind, wrapped beautifully in fiber and plant protein, so it releases its sugar over hours instead of minutes. Lentils also carry that wonderful second meal effect. A hearty bowl of lentil soup at noon helps keep my blood sugar readings gentler even after supper. I happily swap them in for white rice and white potatoes 3 or 4 times a week, enjoying half a cup to a cup cooked. In winter, I love a warm lentil soup, and in summer, I enjoy them cold with a drizzle of olive oil and a splash of vinegar. They're as cheap as dirt and twice as filling, offering a satisfying meal that truly works for your body. Unlocking the spice cabinet. But here's where things get even more interesting. Simply slowing down the crowd was only the first job. My numbers definitely came down, but then they reached a plateau. What got them moving again lived right in my humble spice cabinet. Before I share these secrets, if there's someone you love who is struggling with their blood sugar numbers, please consider sharing this video with them. Nobody sat our generation down and taught us these simple yet powerful truths. I have 2 tools for you from the spice cabinet, both cheaper than a Sunday newspaper. First, cinnamon. But hold on a moment, because the kind of cinnamon truly matters, and most people unknowingly grab the wrong jar. The everyday grocery store cinnamon you typically find is called cassia. If taken daily in substantial amounts, cassia contains a compound that can be hard on your liver. The jar you want, the one you should look for, will specifically say Ceylon cinnamon. It's milder, gentler, and safer for everyday use. Ceylon cinnamon carries unique plant compounds that help your insulin get a better grip on sugar, and it also subtly slows down your stomach a bit more. I use 1/4 to a half teaspoon a day, stirred into my oatmeal or coffee. It's most effective when taken with a carbohydrate-containing meal, as that's when you really want that extra grip on your blood sugar. Second, if you own a glucose meter, you can actually watch this next one work its magic tonight. I'm talking about apple cider vinegar. Take 1 tablespoon in a full glass of water about 10 to 15 minutes before your starchiest meal of the day. The sourness from the vinegar works to slow down your stomach, and it also helps your muscles more effectively pull sugar out of that crowded aisle and burn it for fuel. Now, I won't promise you a specific number. I'm not your doctor, and everyone's body is wonderfully unique. However, here's what my meter consistently showed me. That alarming after-supper climb in my blood sugar, which used to fill me with dread, flattened out significantly within just a few days of consistently using apple cider vinegar. There are 2 crucial rules with apple cider vinegar, and please do not skip them. First, never, ever drink it straight. Always dilute it in water, because straight vinegar is cruel to your tooth enamel and can irritate your throat. And the second rule, this one matters more than anything else I will say today, so please lean in close and listen carefully. If you take medication for your blood sugar, whether it's pills or insulin, these foods, including the vinegar, stack on top of that medicine. The vinegar, the fenugreek, the cinnamon, all the fiber, every single one of these works in the same direction as your prescription, and together they can potentially pull your blood sugar too low. A dangerously low blood sugar reading is not a victory, it's an emergency. So please do exactly what I did. Bring this entire list to your doctor. Let them monitor your numbers closely, and as your body improves, they can carefully and safely walk your medication dose down. My doctor gradually lowered my dose step by step throughout that first year, meticulously checking my readings the whole way. I never, not once, changed a single pill on my own. That partnership with my doctor is precisely why my story ends with me in my own kitchen enjoying my independence instead of ending up in an emergency room. Please do not skip the doctor. Bring them along on this journey with you. Quieting the internal noise. Now, let's move on to the last group of foods. These work on something you can't necessarily see or feel directly, and for some of you, it might be the very reason why you eat carefully, yet your blood sugar numbers still won't budge. Remember our second job, calming the room. A low, persistent fire can smolder silently within your body for years. Doctors call this chronic inflammation, and it essentially garbles the signal between your insulin and your cells. It's like the usher is talking, but the pews simply can't hear him. 3 specific foods helped hush that noise for me. First, fatty fish, twice a week. When it's payday, I enjoy some delicious salmon, but here's my secret for the rest of the month: humble canned sardines and canned mackerel. These are some of the cheapest, most nutrient-dense foods in the entire grocery store. These small, mighty fish are packed with omega-3 fats, which are nature's very own fire brigade. They help settle that inflammation, allowing the insulin signal to come through loud and clear. Aim for a piece about the size of your palm, baked, grilled, or simply enjoyed straight from the can onto a piece of whole grain toast. Next, walnuts. A small handful, perhaps 7 to 10 individual walnuts, makes for a perfect afternoon snack. This is instead of the afternoon cookie, not on top of it. The wonderful combination of fat, fiber, and protein in a walnut transforms what used to be a snack that would cause my blood sugar to spike into a snack that keeps me feeling level and satisfied all the way until supper. And those same healthy fats are also incredibly kind to the delicate lining of your blood vessels, which is often one of the first things high sugar likes to pick on. Make sure to choose raw or plain roasted walnuts, not the candied ones. I know, I miss those too sometimes. And finally, the strangest one on my list, and the one I often find myself defending the hardest: broccoli sprouts. Not full-grown broccoli, mind you, but the tiny little 3-day-old sprouts. My doctor introduced me to these for one particular misery I experienced, the stubborn morning blood sugar number. So many of us wake up to the worst reading of the day, even after eating nothing all night. The reason is your liver, which quietly manufactures sugar while you sleep. In people like us, it tends to make too much. These delicate sprouts contain a compound in far greater concentration than even mature broccoli, which my doctor says politely asks that overnight factory in your liver to slow down its production. I grow them easily in a simple mason jar on my windowsill for mere pennies. I eat about a quarter cup most days raw on a sandwich or mixed into a salad. Raw matters. Cooking them hard tends to destroy their beneficial compounds. A path to independence. So that was my doctor's essential list. Eggs and avocado to start the day on level, steady ground. Fenugreek, chia, and lentils to gently let the crowd of sugar into your system slowly. Ceylon cinnamon and apple cider vinegar to help your cells open up and receive the sugar. And fatty fish, walnuts, and broccoli sprouts to quiet the internal room of inflammation and gently hush that overnight sugar factory in your liver. 10 foods doing 3 crucial jobs. I introduced them into my diet gradually, over about 3 weeks. You certainly don't have to tackle it all by next Tuesday. Within the very first week, I noticed my fasting blood sugar number beginning to ease downwards. Within 4 months, my doctor was delighted to cancel the second medication he had been ready to prescribe. And over the course of the next year, as we continued to monitor my readings together, he was able to gradually walk down the dose of my first medication too. I'm 105 now. I still get my numbers checked twice a year, these days by his son, who has taken over the practice. And my numbers, I'm pleased to say, still behave beautifully. That has been my path, my road to health. Your journey may, of course, run differently, but whatever it looks like, please walk it with your doctor, but do walk it. The 70% that matters most. Now, I promised you the other 70%, and I want to be completely honest about what this part is and what it isn't. At my age, I simply have no patience left for fibbing or embellishment. I can't hand you a scientific study for what I'm about to say. This isn't a prescription in the medical sense. Instead, it's the profound wisdom that 105 years of living has taught one woman. But I've watched countless people eat exactly right and still, sadly, wither. I've spent 25 years pondering and asking why. Here's what I truly believe. First, hold on to your faith. Whatever it is you hold on to. For me, it's the worn pages of the book on my nightstand and a quiet prayer with my morning coffee. Hold on to it with both hands. And this has nothing to do with magic. Fear, you see, is incredibly hard on the body. My own doctor says that worry pours out stress hormones, and these stress hormones, particularly one he calls cortisol, actually push your blood sugar up. I just call it stewing. The year my blood sugar numbers went truly bad, I stewed every single night, lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling with a knot of anxiety in my stomach. My faith is where I finally learned to set that heavy fear down. Every morning, I hand over what I can't control to hands much bigger than mine, and then I go soak my fenugreek seeds and tend to what I can control. And you know what? I'm sleeping now, really sleeping, which wasn't something I was used to for a long time. Whether your quiet place is prayer, scripture, or a peaceful walk under old, comforting trees, find where you can truly set your fear down and go there daily, as faithfully as you would take a pill. Second, live honestly. What, you might ask, does honesty have to do with blood sugar? I'll tell you what I've observed in a lifetime of watching people. A lie is heavy. A grudge is even heavier. You carry them around in your shoulders, in your stomach. They steal the precious hours you should be spending in restful sleep. I've known people who were eaten alive by a resentment they nursed, fed for 40 years, and no diet on earth was ever going to save them, Because the body, my dears, keeps the books, even when we refuse to acknowledge them. Somewhere in my 80s, I made a conscious effort to pay off every quote-unquote debt of the heart I had accumulated. I said the quote sorries I owed. I forgave 2 people who never even asked me to. One of them was already gone, but I forgave him anyway, out loud, alone in my garden. I can't scientifically prove what that act did for my blood work, but I can tell you that I felt lighter, truly lighter, and a light heart makes it so much easier to do every quiet, consistent thing on that food list, day after day, for 25 years. And third, and this is the biggest one, so if you only remember one thing from an old woman, please remember this: think of others. The people who study the places where folks live the longest, what they call blue zones, will tell you that the common thread isn't some miracle food, it's purpose, it's being needed. The sickest year of my life wasn't the year I received bad blood work results, it was the year after my dear husband passed away. I quietly decided I was finished. Nobody needed me anymore, so what was the use? I barely cooked, I barely moved. Everything in my life started to slide into disrepair. What truly pulled me back wasn't a new diet or a supplement. It was a simple knock at my door. A young mother from down the street, her eyes a little weary, asking if I could sit with her baby for just 1 hour. That hour blossomed into a regular Tuesday. That Tuesday slowly but surely became a profound reason for me to be strong again. Here are the plain mechanics of it, nothing mystical. Purpose gets you out of bed. Getting out of bed gets you moving. Moving leads to cooking real, nourishing food, and a person with a clean, light heart sleeps like they're supposed to. That, my friends, is the whole engine of well-being. Purpose is the key that starts it. So here's my final prescription, and it costs even less than fenugreek seeds. Find somebody to help this week. Check on that neighbor whom nobody else seems to check on. Call that person from church who seems to have dropped off everyone's list. You're making lentil soup anyway, right? Make it a big batch and carry half of it next door. Teach a grandchild how to grow sprouts in a jar. They'll think it's a fascinating science project, and you'll be handing them the gift of 50 good years. The fastest way to feel valuable is to genuinely be valuable to somebody else. And a person who feels valuable truly fights for their health because they know they've got somewhere important to be and things to do. That's the whole of it. That's why I'm not in the hallway that ultimately took my sister. It's not because my body somehow skipped old age. It certainly didn't. It's because every single morning I have food that works with me instead of against me. A fear that I now know exactly where to set down. A clean ledger in my heart. And beloved people who would notice by noon if my kitchen light didn't come on. Tomorrow, I'll cook my own breakfast again. 2 eggs and half an avocado, just as I've done for so many years. And I'll say a quiet prayer for every single one of you watching this, especially if you have a number that currently scares you, because I know that 3 a.m. arithmetic all too well, and I promise you it can come out differently. Now do something for me. In the comments below, please tell me your age and where you are watching from. And if you decide to try that apple cider vinegar tonight, please come back and tell me what your meter said. My great-grandson Danny reads every single comment to me on Sundays, and what you tell us helps decide what we film next. At 105 years old, I'm still collecting reasons to be here, and you, my dear friends, have just given me one more.